Ford. Treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
WHTL is your home for exciting high school volleyball. I'm Laura Watkey. Join me, Butch Lama, and the rest of the WHTL sports team as we follow local schools from 3 different area conferences.
Tomorrow, we bring you another great neighborhood rivalry when Osseo Fairchild welcomes Augusta.
Tune in to 102.3 FM or live stream us at WHTLradio.com for all of the action. We're your hometown location for high school sports. WHTL.
Well, it's kind of a dreary, wet Monday out there. It's a good day to grab a book and curl up. And so talking about libraries where you can find a lot of books, we got Kayla Matheson here joining me. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in this morning. And how are you today?
Good. Staying dry.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
And we were talking just before we went on. They're getting ready to pour some cement as soon as it dries out.
We're just watching the weather. And then at our new library building, they're putting the slab in as soon as they can. They wanted to do it Friday, and it was kind of misty, and no chance today, but we were just saying maybe Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday is looking pretty good.
Yep. Tuesday through the rest of the week looks good, so hopefully they'll get that poured and keep moving on that progress. So, well, we're celebrating Library Card Sign-Up Month.
Yes.
All September long.
All September long.
All right. So we've heard that what happens in the early years really shapes how kids do later on, because we're going to talk about kids today, right? Can you talk about what early reading and literacy why early reading and literacy are such a big deal?
Yes, absolutely. So there have been a lot of studies done, a lot of research done on what parents, teachers, community members can do to make children set up for the best life we can, and what everything comes back to is reading. The child's reading level at 3rd grade can pretty much tell you, if they're going to be ready to have a good job, and it's really tough to claw that back when young kids don't get a good foundation. It's really hard for parents, for grandparents to, you can't force a middle schooler to read for fun if they've never done it before. So when they're that young, kids are excited. They just want to hear a story. They're curious. They've got a million questions, and there's always a book to answer that question.
Yeah. And I think, the good thing, like what I did with my kids when they were little is, you start with the short read books and you get them a little more, interested in, and maybe take them to the library where they can kind of look through those books and help
pick something out themselves, have that ownership, and
feed that excitement in them, and like you said, have that ownership. And
and it's like taking them to the store where they're browsing for toys or whatever, but it's free. It doesn't cost any money.
Yeah, and once you find a love for reading, I think it stays with you for life.
Yeah, it does. And I think people go in spurts, or, a lot of people, I think, drop off. They get busy, and then they find it again later and pick it right back up where they lost it.
Yeah, and like today, it's the first day of fall, so fall and winter are a great time to curl up with a book.
Heated blanket.
Hot cocoa. Yeah, so, well, we're talking about books and shelves at home, and some of the families can afford shelves on books at home, but others really rely on libraries. How does having a library card help level the playing field for kids in our community?
Yeah, well, and I don't want to spill the beans for Amanda, but I just heard that Whitehall Library is going to be able to start bringing the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to the area. And the rest of us are working on it too. Hopefully we're not too far behind, but there's a reason so many programs like that to put books into kids' hands exists, and it's because, a kid who has books, they don't even have to read them. Just the studies show having books in the house as an option to mix in with TV, with games, with arts and crafts, with all the other things. It means a lot to a kid and gives them more choice. And I think, I was just talking to somebody, they said, my kid won't stop going, why? Every single time it's why. And I said, just like, you can just have a get out of jail free card for that and say, I don't know, let's go find out at the library. And then you can make them wait. If they're like, why? You can say, I don't know. We're not going to the library until next week though. So save your questions.
That is a great idea, actually, because I remember that stage when all my kids were little.
Yeah.
They're very inquisitive, and they just want to know the answers to everything, and that is a great way to approach it. Be like, well, let's go to the library, find out. And then it teaches the kids as they grow. It's like, well, if you want to know something, you don't have to run to Google right away. Go to the library, explore, find a book about it, and maybe you'll learn something you didn't know.
All kinds of new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had talked a couple weeks ago about Canopy, that video streaming service that we have. It's just so good for kids, where like you can let them loose on watching videos all day if you need that sometimes.
Yeah.
And everything's good. I was a PBS kid growing up.
Me too.
We loved Cyber Chase. Arthur was just talking about that with a friend over the weekend, that we were both PBS kids. And, there's so many different free resources out there for kids to learn that really, there's something for every kid out there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you want to spend a little time, we can talk about that streaming service. I know we talked about that last time, because a lot of people probably don't know.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
So
what's it called again?
It's called Canopy.
Canopy. So can they just search Canopy, or they have to go to the library?
Nope. You can search Canopy with a K, not like a tent. Canopy with a K, which makes it easier to find.
Yep.
So the first time you sign into it, you need your library card. After that, it's just a email, password, like any other streaming site. And it has stuff for everybody. There's a lot of movies, documentaries, TV shows on there, but you have a certain number of tickets per month. We pay per use on the library side, and we want people to use it, so don't let that hold you back. But we give you a certain number of tickets, and, a movie that's been out for 100 years might cost 1 ticket, but a newer release movie might cost 2 or 3 tickets, or a full season of TV. So you can kind of divide that up however you want to. But if you flip into the kids side of it, it's totally unlimited. And it's all educational, pre-vetted TV. A lot of the PBS stuff is in there, Sesame Street. And then there's agreements with like the PBS equivalents from Canada and Australia and all of those shows too.
Okay.
So there's a lot of shows that kids are familiar with, and new ones, which is also important to have some variety. And there's like educational things where you can put it on and that the kids are learning, but there's also the stuff that it's like, well, that just is a fun show too.
Yeah.
So totally free. All you need is a library card to sign in the first time, and then you set up your account and it's good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so great, because I remember when my kids were little, I was a satellite technician, so like these big black satellites we have out there.
Yeah.
I had 6 of those set up in my yard because when the digital age came in, there was all sorts of free stuff you could get, and we would get from Canada. We would get there was a kids channel, and there was like this Camp Caribou's one my kids watched, and then they also watched like the PBS stuff, the Cyber Chase, the Caillou, all that stuff too. So that's a valuable resource, because a lot of those type of shows, they're teaching kids too.
Yes.
It's not just about fun, goofy characters, but they're actually trying to teach them some morals.
But you still get the fun, goofy kids, so it's
exactly. Well, that was really cool. So, I would encourage people to go check that out. And one thing about libraries is you get parents, but sometimes grandparents who bring the kids to the library.
Aunts, uncles, neighbors, babysitters, whoever you come with. That's why, like, a lot of times I say, "What's your grown up?" Who's your grown up here? Because I don't,
Yep. You never know these days.
Got somebody coming different. Yeah, and it's super fun. We also have people who come and shop for other people's kids too.
Okay.
We have one lady. She has a maybe 2, maybe 3-year-old granddaughter, but lives out of town. So they don't get together as often, but she's always coming in, and she does books as gifts a lot, and she wants to preview all the stuff before she buys it. So she comes in and she'll get a big stack of, 20, 30 last month she got 20, 30 Halloween books and sorted through and picked out the ones that she wanted to gift for her granddaughter and then bought them after the fact for,
Wow.
I know, good idea. You can do all your shopping.
I never thought about that, because, people
Yeah.
have different views on things, and sometimes they want to just make sure that whatever they're giving the kids align with those views, which is, everyone's right. So it is a great idea to come down if you want to preview the books before you buy them.
Yep. And this lady does a lot of gardening, and she's got neighbor kids who are always tooling around on bikes, and so she started testing the books too on the neighbor kid, where she just kind of yells out like, "Hey, you guys, I have a book. Do you want to read it?" And then they come over. So sometimes she'll come in and be like, "I need a book for," and I know these kids, they don't live too far from the library. So she's like, "Yeah, I need a book for it's 5-year-old."
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's great.
So
Sounds like a sweet lady.
yeah, it's super fun just to be a part of that too.
Yeah, that is great. And for families listening right now, we're getting back into the school season, and with that comes, like you said, kids are learning, they're trying to figure things out. For parents listening, what are some simple everyday ways we can use the library to help kids succeed in school?
Yeah, a lot of times we don't see a lot of the parents and kids coming together that we see over the summer because the kids have their school library that they're going to every week, a couple times a week, depending on what school they're at. So they kind of think like, oh, they'll get their books there, and they will. But we've got other stuff too. We can grab from other libraries, which I think sometimes people think it's going to be an inconvenience for us or something like that, but it is. It's not. It's, it takes the same amount of time for me to type in The Leaf Thief, which is a super cute fall book if anybody's looking for one, as it does to find out if I have it on my shelves, and to order it from another library. It's like 2 more button clicks and it magically shows up, and it's not any extra work for anybody. So I think if parents are looking for something specific that the school library doesn't have, or sometimes you can't always trust the kids to pick out.
Yeah.
When they're at the school library, they're not going to go and be like, oh, wow, so we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving 2 weeks early because grandma's coming. They're not thinking about that.
No.
So, but we've got our Thanksgiving books, so, for you to grab, or if there's a specific theme you're looking for. But then we also have things to supplement too. If you notice that your kid is struggling with something specific, like counting money or telling time, things like that, where, they're going to get a day of it, 2 days of it in school, but if it's not clicking, it's not clicking.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times parents' reaction is like, oh boy, let's print a worksheet and do some practice. But we have kits for that, which is super fun.
Oh, wow.
We have a counting coins kit and a telling time kit. But inside this counting coins kit, there's, a lot of fake money, probably 20 singles, 20 dimes, 20, the little plastic coins. We've all seen them before.
Yeah.
But then it also has like little 2-piece puzzles where you put together like this loaf of bread costs 99 cents, brought to you by Quick Trip. And then the other side of the puzzle has, 3 quarters, 2 dimes, 4 nickels, or 4 pennies, or whatever. So then you're putting those together, or it has a little dry erase shopping tag so you can set up a store at home, or different things like that, where just like the PBS Kids shows, you're tricking them into learning fun stuff.
Yep, learning through fun.
Yes. When you've got a little dry erase piggy bank and stuff like that, just, I think there's flashcards in there. There's a bunch of different, like, games that you don't really realize are learning games. And then it's full of books. We have one that explains in kid terms, like, why it's important to save money, what is investing, which, like, I don't want to learn about investing. So, if somebody told me what it was at 5 years old, it, like, yeah, if you you lend your friend money to get a lemonade stand, like, you give them $5, they might give you $6 back. It's really easy, kid-friendly terms on, like, starting a business and things like that. So it's a lot of cool learning opportunities that if a kid shows interest in something, you can really target that interest and be like, well, if you are so sure you want to start a business, great, let's do it the right way from the start and get those kids learning.
Yeah, you might have the next big millionaire around here. Who knows?
We might, yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Well, if a parent or grandparent signs a child up for a library card, say this week, what difference may they notice in the next few months?
Yeah. So there's a program out there. It's called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, which sounds like a lot. 1,000 books seems like a lot, but, you know, depending on what age you're starting at, if you're starting with a baby, you have to read like 2 books a week. That's nothing. And when they're a baby, it takes like 30 seconds to read one of those stories. But, you know, even if you're starting with like a 4-year-old trying to read 1,000 books before kindergarten, 2 or 3 books a day, you can repeat them.
Yeah.
That's not an insurmountable goal for most people. If you take, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to read with a kid every day,
Well, even
kids,
just before bedtime.
Yeah.
That's what we did with our kids. It was like a short book, like the Berenstain Bears or something like that. You know, just read them that little book, and it kind of helps them, you know, get relaxed in bed. And then you're spending that time with the kids, too, because kids do need that time with their parents. And so that reading books to them is such a great way to spend that time.
Yep, definitely. So then, you know, you can tell which kids read or not because they know so many more words, and there's so many words that how do you teach a kid the difference between, you know, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm exhausted, without having little pictures of a sad little bear looking more and more haggard.
Yep.
You know, I think a lot of people, if you think that your kid wouldn't notice, you know, all kids just want a story. They do. Whether you're reading it to them, whether they're looking at it, and even if, you know, you're not a big reader, get one of those look and find books. Like, just, there's something about having paper in front of you where you're flipping through, you're finding Waldo, you're whatever you're doing. It's just, it's relaxing, and it's grounding for kids, and I think a lot of them, you know, everybody's overstimulated.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
You just joked before we went on the air, like, do you want to read the news? Never mind, it's a bummer.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I know, it's like there's so much going on in the world, and we have so much connection between phones, the internet, you know, satellite TV, regular TV, that it does get overwhelming, and just to remove that from the kids for a while and have them sit with a book, I think that really teaches people to be able to sit with themselves also and their own feelings and thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, before we end up going today, what is going on in our local libraries this week?
Well, we're pouring a slab in Independence.
Yeah, that's right.
At Independence Library, our book club is meeting this week, and we've been reading some really fun books lately. So if you've been thinking of like something to do, get out of the house, meet other people, come to our book club, come to, you know, I think all 9 of the libraries have some facet of book discussion times. You don't have to come every month, and everybody's got something a little different. So if you think, oh, wow, Kayla at Independence picks terrible books for book club, I don't want to go back there, which, you know, somebody might say, then go to Whitehall. Amanda's got great taste in books. Carol at Arcadia's got great book club stuff going on. So join a book club.
Yeah.
It's good for your brain.
Exactly. And find your local library, too. Right.
Inga Orth from Around the Farm Tables hitting
a friend of mine, good person.
Oh, yeah. She is, this Thursday, September 25th, if you need to write it down, at 6 p.m., she'll be in Whitehall.
Okay.
If you miss her, one more week, she's in Arcadia the Thursday after that, October 2nd at 5:30 in Arcadia.
Okay.
So perfect time, garden season's coming to an end. Not quite done though.
Yep.
Still
it's getting closer. There's still a few things, you know.
Still a few things coming, but our friends of the Library in Independence have Pumpkin Fest coming up in a couple of weekends. That's the first weekend in October, which I think that's going to be really fun. It started with a couple of friends of the library members who they didn't know each other yet, and at a meeting earlier this year, it came out that they both grow pumpkins, and they said, well, let's sell them at the bridge and make some money for the library, so if you have any pumpkin buying needs, stop at the bridge in Independence.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday, October 4th and 5th. But then it just got bigger, and I think it's just going to be really a fun and special time. Even if you don't need pumpkins, come down from like 11 to 2 on Saturday. They're going to have a small petting zoo where somebody who has goats is come play with some goats, guessing games, how many caramel corns are in the in the jar. You get those, and they have quite a few different games. I'm just gonna bring a stack of pumpkin themed books, and I'll read them one after another.
Yep.
So drop in story hours throughout the afternoon, burger, brat sales. So
Sounds like a fun
yeah,
time.
sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, that sounds so great. Well, is there anything else you want to cover before we get going
No,
today?
I think that covers it.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell everyone, get on out to the libraries today. If you don't have that card, they're free, correct?
It's free.
Yep. So they're free. Get yourself a nice book, warm up. You know, it's going to be time to start the fire soon if you got a wood stove. So get some books, get prepared for fall.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Kayla, thank you so much for being here today. We
Yeah,
are going to
thanks.
get back into the music right after this.
Hi, this is Speck from Osseo Ford and Nels Gunderson Chevrolet, and my station for high school sports is 102.3 WHTL.
Is your pet living a double life as an undercover adventurer? 1 minute they're napping, the next, gone without a trace. Don't worry, citizen. 102.3 WHTL.